everyone. We're going to get started in just a minute. So if you haven't got a plate yet, please find your way to the kitchen. And if you did get a plate, please go ahead and find a seat. We'll be starting in just a minute. So again, if you didn't eat yet, please go get you some. And if you've got your food, please find a seat. We'll be starting in just a minute. For you to be sitting in the back. Don't be shy. We're also not going to fuss at you if you move a seat to your location, as long as everyone can walk around you. Thank you, everybody, so much for coming tonight. UIC has been hard. I'm Kate, by the way. I'm Kate Deacon. I'm the president of McKinley Park Development Council. We are thrilled to have you all with us tonight. UIC has been working very hard with us for about a month now to put this together. They've been looking at activities on 35th Street, on housing, on small businesses, on physical plant, on the state of buildings, on streetscaping, and they've got a wide variety of stuff ready for you tonight. All right. So, a couple of housekeeping things. Slide, please. A couple of housekeeping things before we get going. The food is in the kitchen. Feel free to quietly get up and get seconds during the presentation. This is a louder space than we were in last week, so I am going to ask y'all to keep it down while people are speaking because it really carries in here. The bathrooms are in the back hall over there. I understand that we have some people with limited mobility with us tonight. If you need help at any time, please raise your hand and a board member or someone in a red shirt will come help you. Interpretación. Para aquellos que necesitan ayuda en español, pueden ir a Sabrina allá. Okay. Para aquellos que necesitan traducción en español, Sabrina o Eric aquí. And for anyone who needs interpretation in Mandarin, where is Paul? Okay. If you need interpretation in Mandarin, please identify yourself and Paul will help you. All right. And now Sanjeev wanted to say a few words on behalf of UIC before we get going.
Thank you, Kate. Yeah, first of all, a big round of applause for MPDC.
Yes.
And Kate for hosting us, and a second big thank you to all the residents of McKinley Park for showing out tonight and also working with us for the last 4 weeks. I guess I got several more. We should do them right off the bat. The third big round of applause to mine is for the faculty of Department of Urban Planning and Policy, which is one of the largest planning departments anywhere in the nation. Do we have a slide there? What? And the one. Yeah. Yes. I think let's stop here for a minute. And these students predominantly are from a program called Master of City Design. They come to us from all over the world to learn, and that's the greatness of Chicago, that this is one of the best cities anywhere in the world to learn actually how to design beautiful cities. Equitable, maybe not, but that's the focus that this program does, and I'll come to that in a minute, but a beautiful gleaming white city as it's known all over the world. So 10 students from MCD and then 2 from our great Master of Urban Planning and Program, which is completing 50 years next year. So that's a long-running program. It's the largest, one of the largest in the nation, and we have graduates of this program all over the Chicagoland. So these two group of students came together and worked with our sterling faculty, Dr. April Jackson. Is a national expert on community planning and design, and she shepherded this studio for the program. Dr. Shivin Jackson, who is still on work, and she has been, she is the department, and then more than but I think the real spotlight goes to Mira, who's in between the two. She is a program alumnus, a very successful one, and she took her time from her work to come and work with our students and to put this effort together. So this was, and why do we do this? We do this because we come from University of Illinois, Chicago, which many of you know is one of the best deals in town. This is Harvard level education at posted prices. And when I say it with full conviction. And you've seen the work students did last year and what students did this year. We are your own university, and we engage closely with the city of Chicago in our various studios, and we realize though the world is our home, and our world-class faculty comes from different parts of the world, and our students as well, and then we go and work everywhere, but this is our home. And we are as strong as our home is. And as the faculty in UPP, we realize 2 major challenges for our times. And planning has always historically responded to times. We don't need planning if everything is going well. I hear there are no plans in the Christian heaven or the Islamic Jannah. They don't need plans. They don't need plans. Everything's stable and nice and good. But when things are crazy, you need plans. And the times we live in, we think there are 2 major challenges that we face. They're staring right back in our face. One is social solidarity. We want more solidarity among the residents in different communities in Chicago. And the second thing we face is the changing climate. And that's what this program seeks to do. And no better home for us than UIC, where we have steadily growing enrollments for the last, the previous slide, please. And we have a special Great Cities commitment where UIC, the very raison d'être of UIC and our department founding was that we would work with urban communities. For all the rural stuff, we have a great community university down in Urbana, but urban, we are the ones. So don't go there for urban planning or architecture or urban design. This is the place to come. UIC. Remember, this is a big one. The next slide. And then we have this incredible curriculum where students, 3 semesters, they are going to graduate in next couple hours. So this is the very last moment, and we're holding on the leashes very tight. They're about to leave us. And they've been with us for 10 grueling months, and we broke the horses, we put them through some paces, and we're almost finished with them, and we're very proud of them, as you will see, as you've seen over the last few weeks, and as you'll see in the next few minutes. So once again, thanks a lot. It has been a joy for the last 2 years for our department and our college and for our university to work with the Sterling residents of McKinley Park and all the community friends that we have developed here. And at the end of it, we will hand over a plan document to you for further perusal. But what's going to happen now, and to provide a little background of the overall effort, I'll hand it over to Kate for further description. Thank you once again.
All
Cindy told you a lot about students, right? So we want to say thank you. We have our own thank yous here. Who's got the clicker? Great. Oh, you the clicker? Okay, I feel special now. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about what tonight is and isn't, and we'll also do our own thank yous from the Development Council, from the neighborhood. So what we're doing here is we are really talking about making everyday things more accessible on 35th Street. The goal of this project is to look at ways that we can make the physical things in our neighborhood, the businesses in our neighborhood, look more like the best parts of our neighborhood as it is. All right, we are not here to make, this is not a formal proposal, there is no developer involved, this is not presented for any developer or any political entity, and we are not out to change the character of the neighborhood. We want to find ways to make the neighborhood be more like the people who live here. You know, to express all of our identities on 35th Street as it should be, to use this not quite blank slate that we have to go do something that works for everyone who is already here, to make things family friendly and fun and accessible. As Cindy talked a lot about the students from UIC, I'm also a UIC alum. I did my MBA there, and the best part of my program was working on real world projects. I could have gone to a fancier private school, but they don't do that. They do case studies, and they look at problems that people have already solved. I don't care what problems you have already solved. That's not our problem. So we really, really value sharing that experience with the students in a way that benefits us and benefits them. And this has been a great love fest this year again, and we're really, really grateful for all of that, for all the assistance that we have been given. All right. So a couple of other thank yous. Other way. A couple of other thank yous tonight. All right, we have some partners here who have helped us promote this event. Our friends from neighboring areas are with us too. Bridgeport Alliance and Coalition for Better Chinese American Community. Thank you. Also, UIC Kappa, and then Joe here is also from the Institute for Policy and Civic Engagement, so thank you. And Design Workshop, which has provided some support to the students as well. I want to take a minute also to thank the board of McKinley Park Development Council board members. If you're not holding the live stream, would you please stand up and be recognized? You know, it does take a lot of work to make an event like this happen. The students have done a lot for us, but you know, somebody's still got to wrangle the food and send the invites and make sure everybody knows what's happening and arrange the venues and all of that. A huge thank you to our venue tonight as well, Bethany Baptist Church, for hosting us. We really appreciate all the support we've gotten from you. And that's not just tonight, but also over the last several months, since we have been unable to hold our regular meetings as the library, the church has stepped in to help, and we're very appreciative of that. You know, our goal as an organization, one of our primary goals is to make sure that we inform our residents about what's happening, and in order to do that, we need a place to meet. It's pretty important, so we are grateful. I think. And the food. Oh, let's not forget the food. Okay, so tonight's food came from Gorditas Tia Susie and Cadino Bakery, both of which are McKinley Park businesses. And I think, I know Cadino is here. I don't know if we have anybody from Tia Susie's, but please eat. I mean, we love leftovers, so please eat. All right. Oh, and our interpreters and our volunteers, so thank you very much. I also have one kind of random announcement. These are your reading classes. They were left at last week's event, and they are good for you. All right. So how did we get here? I know some of you listened to this last week, so I'll keep it brief, but we have a lot of new faces this week, and that's fabulous. So McKinley Park has a neighborhood plan that's sanctioned by CMAP, which is a regional organization that looks after planning issues in the area. And that neighborhood plan was over 800 residents participated in the making of that plan. It was a really big deal. And it took a while to come to fruition because it got hampered by COVID, but it did eventually happen. It did eventually come through. And that plan outlines what residents, in very broad terms, think that our neighborhood should be like. You know, it talks a lot about cultural identity and who lives here and walkability and bikeability and making things accessible, whether that means physical accessibility or language accessibility. So there's a lot that goes into that plan. So that's our big picture. And what we're doing with UIC now is a funnel, all right? So if our neighborhood plan is this big, then, you know, last year's project, we looked at the neighborhood as a whole and identified 3 areas of action. And that was the area around the L, the 35th Street Commercial Corridor, and the Central Manufacturing District on Pershing. So this year, continue our funnel, smaller and smaller, we are specifically looking at 35th Street. Why are we looking at 35th Street? Well, for one thing, it's vacant. A lot of it's vacant, and that's not good for the neighborhood. We are also in a moment where there is a lot of financial and social assistance available for small businesses, and we want to capture that. We're also in a moment where we have a new political administration, and there's a lot of good energy coming in of people who want to hurry up and show they can do something. And we intend to capitalize on that and get things done that neighbors want to get done. And I want to emphasize that. We want to advocate for what neighbors want to see done, not outsiders. So, again, funded by Elevated Chicago, we had these events last year and then this year, and we've had, again, several hundred of you turn out for various events to, again, shape this year, and we're really grateful for that. These things work because you guys show up. We can't do it without you. And so, yes, we're feeding you, we're bribing you with tacos, but, but we do need you, and we really appreciate you being here because it just doesn't work without neighbors. And part of the reason UIC asked us to come back this summer is because they said this is the best participation they've had from any community they have worked with. So, that's a big deal, guys. All right, and now I'm going to hand it over to the students. One final thing before we do that, just so you know what to expect tonight. We're going to have this initial presentation that's going to be 40 minutes or so. We're going to show you a lot of data, a lot of information, and then we're going to move to have discussion in small groups. All right? So, so you have a number on your name tag, and that will determine which small group that you go into. We'll give you more instructions later, but just so you know what to expect, that there will be an opportunity for conversation. We're not just going to dump a bunch of stuff on you and leave. All right? So in the meantime, do what you need to do. If you need another cup of coffee, you need the washroom, you need another taco, I always need another taco, it's okay. But please stick around, and we're looking forward to talking with you more.
Thank you. Just a small correction, we have compressed the presentation. It's going to end in like 25 minutes. Yeah. So yeah, good evening everyone. My name is Punya, and today I'm thrilled to share with you our proposal for reimagining 35th Street.
What would you like?
We want to build from last year's work and
Beautiful,
look at
this
McKinney
logo.
Park as a whole. Our approach this year is a little different. We are narrowing in, focusing only on 35th Street, which we believe holds great potential to become the main street of this beautiful neighborhood. We aim to refine the design approach for 35th Street. Together, we have developed a conceptual corridor plan beginning from the L station at 35th and Archer in the west and goes all the way to Ashland in the east. We have the opportunity to engage with the diverse community in this neighborhood, help promote small business development through design and planning policies, and promote pedestrian streetscape and green community spaces to strengthen the sense of this community. I'm sorry. We start with the community engagement process that took place 2 weeks ago, as well as feedback we received from the residents of McKinley Park. For our community and business surveys and the engagement activities, and finally some preliminary concepts that we provided at our last week events and we showcased during the visioning workshop. This is a glimpse of the different interaction events we conducted, where around 75 people were engaged in pop-up events, around 50 people in the community design workshop. We received around 115 people survey responses in our community and business surveys, and we also had the opportunity to interview some realtors personally. This really helped us in understanding the needs and wants of the community and forming a proposal for reimagining 35th Street. We kick off by analyzing the responses from our community feedback. First, to understand how our survey respondents associated with McKinley Park, the top responses we received were that 70% reside in McKinley Park. which is surprising that 30% did not select the option that they live in McKinley Park. I believe majority of our survey was done in the park itself, where I personally saw that a lot of people only visit the park, and even though I made sure to ask, hey, do you actually use 35th Street? A lot of positive feedback that yes, even though we don't live in McKinley Park, we do use 35th Street, and we also use the park to walk, for leisure, to buy, and to shop and own property as well. Some of the neighborhood improvements that the community wanted to see on 35th were attracting small businesses, have more green and natural space, and improve walkability and bikeability, and provide more local jobs. Furthermore, we wanted to know how the community would like to beautify 35th Street. Street landscaping was the only option that gained a majority of support, with more public art, open community spaces, and also having a good amount of votes. Next, when the neighborhood chose their top...
Slow down a little bit.
I'm sorry. Next, when the neighborhood chose their top 3 types of businesses, they would like to see restaurants, was a clear leading option, cafes, coffee shops, and children activities also receiving strong support. Moving on to the results of our business surveys, where we heard from some of the shop owners about different aspects affecting their business success and how to improve 35th Street to be more productive for businesses. Of the 17 business owners we heard back from, 4 were restaurant owners and 3 owned insurance agencies. The remaining owners were spread across a diverse set of businesses such as grocery stores, beauty salons, and gas stations. When we asked the owners to rate the degree to which they were experiencing challenges to their business, we found out that poor infrastructure as well as expensive utilities, insufficient parking, increasing rent were some of them. The pandemic in the past couple of years have also not helped. One bright spot being the new ice cream shop on the 35th that opened during the pandemic and has been doing pretty well. In addition, we learned that business owners would love to improve the building conditions, enhance lighting on the street, improve walkability and bikeability in order to make the street more safe and comfortable for everyone. Luckily, this aligned with the community feedback we also received. Finally, street activation around outdoor dining and more neighborhood events were also favored. It was a delight for us to see how the community survey and the business survey feedback aligned with each other in terms of what the people of McKinley Park want to see on 35th. Finally, business owners nearly unanimously would welcome art galleries on 35th Street, which was a bit surprising. And many would also welcome bars, pubs, more places to drink and enjoy in general, restaurants, ethnic grocery stores, childcare and entertainment offerings as well. There was also a concern amongst the realtors that there isn't any walking traffic on the 35th, and before putting any more businesses, they would prefer to improve existing infrastructure to attract more people. We now want to share with you the results of our pop-up activities. These activities occurred almost 2 weeks ago and was the stage for our very first interaction with the community of McKinley Park. For those who did not get a chance to participate in our pop-up activities, we had 6 activities conducted across 3 days, during which we heard from around 100 McKinley Park community members. We had the opportunity to meet you guys at your most frequently visited places, including outside the McKinley Park Fieldhouse, at the community playground and block party, and finally at the Memorial Day Parade. A great weekend to take in such festive community gatherings in McKinley Park. These were the activities that we led the community through, all meant to help us understand your perception of 35th Street and what changes can we make to make 35th Street more reflective of your ideas. We asked questions such as, how would you like to improve 35th Street? Where do you visit the most on 35th? Which place do you like? Your favorite place on 35th Street? How would you improve empty lots on 35th? And some of the others. We want to briefly share with you our top findings from the pop-up activities, which included the answers we received when we asked individuals for their favorite and most visited places on 35th Street. Chile Torreado and its amazing Mexican food and highway were a winner for favorite place in McKinley Park, with the library not far behind. Additionally, for most visited places, Cermak Produce came out in the front. We also asked the community, what can be better about 35th Street? The resounding top answer was more small businesses. That, though there were also interesting improvements such as increasing tree cover, improved traffic safety, and more community and green spaces. I will pass on to my friend Kyle for the next part of the feedback we collected.
Thank you, Punya. So, informed by the feedback we received from the pop-up activities, we sought to gain more in-depth insights through a community visioning workshop at the former Cocho storefront last week Wednesday. So again, over some delicious chili toreado, we first shared our research findings on McKinley Park and the conditions of 35th Street. Then we presented our preliminary design concepts, so you took a look at them in the back of the room tonight, and finally we engaged a group of 50 in 8 unique activities meant to continue the conversation around what types of improvements are most in need on 35th Street. So I just want to kind of walk us through a couple of those activities we did that night. So first, we played a fun game of redesigning 35th Street by pretty much just like a puzzle, moving around the different components that can make up the entire 60-foot right-of-way width of 35th Street. So what you're looking at on the screen, it's a little complicated. I'll kind of break it down. Kind of the upper right-hand corner, you can see what's spelled out as existing conditions. So that is the full 60-foot right-of-way as it currently exists on 35th Street. The color coding there, so gray boxes representing sidewalks, including space that would be needed for things like trees, planters, and benches. Green boxes representing the addition of bike lanes. Black boxes representing the travel lanes on the street. And finally, the gold boxes representing parking. So that's the existing. Below that are all the ways the community decided they wanted to redesign 35th Street. So you can automatically see a lot of creativity in this community around what they envision the street looking like in the future. And of course, I need to give a special call to the person who decided to put a bike lane right in the middle of the street. Haven't seen that one before. So overall, 70% of you called for wider sidewalks, and 88% of people wanted a bike lane in this exercise. Next, another activity, we walked participants through, or we wanted to ask participants for their thoughts on repurposing several commercial alleyways adjacent to 35th Street in ways that could create additional communal spaces in the neighborhood. So amongst the most popular alleyway additions you guys asked for is more art, increased business space such as alleyway restaurant dining, and creating more green spaces and communal seating areas. We were also highly interested in making sure any future redesign of 35th Street incorporates the cultural identity of McKinley Park's diverse population and makes sure that everyone feels at home on 35th Street. So in order to accomplish this, we sought to understand the community's preferred forms of cultural identity expression in the built environment of 35th Street. So when we asked the community for its opinion to 8 different forms of cultural identity, we heard back the most interest in neighborhood festivals, murals, and creating a multicultural commercial district filled with retail offerings representative of McKinley Park's multicultural community. Finally, in our LEGO activity, we unleashed the little kid in every community member by inviting them to build the corner of 35th and Damon with LEGO blocks that represented different retail, housing, open space, and civic amenities they desired to be placed on this corner. The word cloud on the right of the screen represents the types of uses that participants use the most, showing that the community valued mixed-use buildings with rental housing and a variety of other usage such as bars and maker spaces. So to recap our findings from these activities, we learned you guys had great interest in seeing more communal spaces such as restaurants, bars, and art galleries, but also a variety of outdoor communal spaces for the fair weather months. Next, there was a preference for making 35th Street safer for pedestrians and cyclists by implementing bike lanes and enhanced pedestrian safety measures like shortening crosswalks. Finally, the McKinley Park community has been very receptive to adding more art and landscaping to 35th Street in ways that beautify the street, so long as they are added in ways that are authentic to the McKinley Park community. The final piece of feedback we received at the visioning workshop was related to the 3 35th Street redesigns we showcased that night. So I'm going to kind of walk you through each of these 3. So the first concept we received feedback on was the Transit Plaza, which featured a concentrated transit-oriented development hub centered around the 35th and Archer Orange Line station with 3 to 4 stories of commercial and residential uses and interconnecting public spaces like parks and plazas. The favorably received aspects of this concept include repurposing the train parking lot into a linear park, promotion of short walkable distances around a dense hub of activity, and the pedestrian safety enhancements. Opportunities were identified to extend the walkability beyond the areas around the L station, to add additional retail and seating, and to enhance pedestrians' sense of security. The next concept we showcased was the neighborhood Main Street, which envisions a vibrant corridor that brings everyday small businesses, innovative spaces like ghost kitchens, green areas, and a festive 3 to 4 block street together to create a go-to destination in the neighborhood. We heard positive feedback on the space for food trucks, the festive street concept, and the increased green space. While respondents wished the concept included more covered community spaces, which we took to be basically places for the winter, the concept did not remove the existing parking supply and place more emphasis on pedestrian safety at the corner of Walcott and 35th Street. And lastly, we presented our Heart of McKinley Park concept, which builds upon the community's cultural diversity through branding, signage, public art, and sidewalk seating spaces. You guys liked the way we added art to the alleyways, the way this concept promoted cultural diversity, and the increased play areas for children. Areas of opportunity that we heard were increasing spaces for cultural exchange, extending the protected bike lanes on wood, and creating activities for all age groups. So altogether, based on a scoring method we utilized, the highest scores went to the neighborhood Main Street proposal, though elements of all three are included in our final design concept, which Joshua will now explain.
Thank you, Kyle. Okay, awesome. So here we are at probably the most awaited part of the presentation. In the following slides, we will look at some of the refined, design vision that we have come up with for 35th Street in McKinley Park. Oh, there you go. So this is the overall view of the concept that envisions 35th Street as the neighborhood Main Street here in McKinley Park. As Guy mentioned, out of the three concepts that we received feedback on during the visioning workshop, this was the most liked one by the people that participated. Within our study area from Levitt to Ashland on 35th Street, what we've done here is we've proposed certain intersections as nodes of activity, like Archer, Walcott, and Wood. And this was something that the community members wanted, was more activity on on certain intersections on 35th Street. What we have proposed here are things like art-activated alleyways, a linear park, wider sidewalks, protected bike lanes, and such other improvements on 35th Street in general. We believe that these things can serve the purpose to bring more businesses in the neighborhood, again, which is something that a lot of community members really want to see. This right here is just a plan view for the drawing that you just saw. You can see right here we have some existing bus stops in the black circles. We have existing bike parking in the big blue circles. And then if you will see, we have new proposed bike parking spots, stations along 35th Street in the dark blue dots. We have added tree cover that we're proposing down 35th Street for more shade. That's something that was really desired by residents. And we have some more proposed seating spaces and art-activated edges around 35th Street that you can see in this map. This is a drawing of the current street section of 35th Street. So what we see here is right now the street has a 8 feet wide sidewalk with parking on both sides and the travel lane in the middle. This does make it a fairly busy corridor with trucks and such, and we see that it's prone to jams and crashes sometimes. So this right here is the proposed street section for 35th Street. Now, this is born out of the street mix activity and the feedback that we've received from neighbors about what would the section of 35th Street look like. So let me walk you through this real quick. What we're proposing right here are wider sidewalks that allow for more activity on these sidewalks. So whether that's more public seating or outdoor cafes, wider sidewalks will allow for that and provide a much better pedestrian experience. Then we have protected bike lanes on both sides. So you can see right here so this is the north side of 35th Street and that's the south side of 35th Street. So right here we have a protected bike lane between in between the median and the sidewalk, and on the south end as well we have a bike lane that's protected, and then we have parking on the south side of 35th Street. So we believe that this street design is kind of what would bind a lot of the conceptual ideas for activity on the different intersections on 35th Street and overall improve the biking and pedestrian experience for neighbors and residents that use the street. So let's look at some of the intersections that we're proposing a little bit more activity on. The first one is the intersection of 35th and Archer, what we're calling the portal. So this is a super important intersection for McKinley Park. It's what connects residents, the orange line, the L station, which is kind of right around there near the bottom left corner of the drawing. What we want to do here is repurpose part of the parking lot that's along the orange line and create a linear path that improves mobility for bikers and pedestrians. Also, we see a potential for grab-and-go cafes and art activation in that alleyway, kind of making it a nice entryway almost into the neighborhood, and just have more activity for people going to and fro from the L. We're also proposing extended sidewalks and bump outs at the intersection at Archer. That is something that we heard a lot was that intersection is just it needs some traffic calming. It's prone to crashes and accidents, so we're proposing some more traffic safety right there. The next intersection is the intersection between the intersection of 35th and Walcott. So just to orient you, that's 35th Street running that way and Walcott Avenue running this way. This is we have some very valuable assets for the community right here. We have the library that you can see, we have the play garden, something that the community loves and cherishes. And what we're proposing here is using this space as a larger community gathering space for things like different festivals or block parties, with food trucks that could be used, that the parking lot at Walgreens could be transformed into a multi-use space that's more seasonal or more event-based. And hopefully with this sort of a larger gathering space, this intersection becomes a neighborhood destination for the residents. Lastly, we have the intersection of 35th and Wood Street. So this right here is the elementary school on 35th, and we envision this intersection to be kind of a similar gathering space where the playground, it could become a pop-up playground for different ages, or a performance space or an event space when needed. We also envision art activation and more public seating and outdoor seating at this intersection. So to kind of show you what these changes could do in real life to the look and feel of the street, this is an image at 35th and Wood, and it kind of shows the current conditions of the corner. There's a vacant store right there, and these spaces feel a little bit more underused. But with the changes that we're proposing, it would feel a lot more livelier, bring a lot more life to the street. This right here is, again, you see that's the library, the parking lot at Walgreens, and this is what we envision, that it could be like a much more livelier version of the same street with more bike parking spots and just a lot more spaces for people to gather. Finally, this is the current alleyway near the L station. It is again, we see great potential for this alleyway to transform into something really beautiful, with vibrant art on the walls and increased lighting. This could really turn into something that people look forward to passing through and become another neighborhood destination. Just to throw a few numbers at you, what does all of this mean for McKinley Park? We're proposing a mile of two bike lanes on 35th Street. We have 5 additional bike parking racks placed in different locations in our study area. We have we've identified 20 plus opportunity locations for more small businesses. Again, something that's super vital to bring that life back onto the street. We're proposing more than 300 trees, added trees for more tree cover and shade for pedestrians. 1,800 plus square feet of on-street retail extension space. So, that includes sidewalk cafes and things like that. And 80,000 plus square feet of space that is repurposed for community use. So this brings us to the end of the presentation. I want to thank everyone here for taking the time out and joining us. I think I speak for all of us when I say that we are very happy and grateful for the opportunity to work with everyone here to build a collective vision for 35th Street. Yeah, thank you so much. So just a quick note for what's next. We will be dividing ourselves into smaller groups. If I can quickly facilitate that and also walk you through some reminders. As we start having a more intimate conversations about these ideas, do remember to step up, step down. If you haven't spoken, please step up. If you feel you've been taking up a lot of space, please step down. Please avoid interrupting other people when they're speaking. Be respectful of everyone's opinion and get to the point. Everyone wants to share their opinion. So let's have a productive, fun, and respectful conversation. Yeah.
Not bad, eh? So, we are going to move to our respective stations. The 4 tables towards the front, so 2 over here and 2 over here have numbers. They will match the number on your name tag so you know where to go, and there'll be a facilitator from MPDC at each table. Before we do that, I just also want to say that think a little bit about what's happening here. So some of the bigger picture goals as we go through discussion, some of the bigger picture goals here include things like connecting the L to the rest of 35th Street so that making pedestrian